Okay, if you were here yesterday, you saw me have like literally heavy anxiety live on camera. That was wild. So my speech was all over the shop. I was like, my thoughts were jumbled, and I basically wanted to show you, well, I didn't want to at all. I showed you live anxiety. Welcome to today. I'm not anxious currently, but not only was I anxious, I only slept 3 hours tonight. So I've had to change the diet. So like I literally couldn't sleep. So basically it looks like the deficit that I've created is way too high. Either that, or for some reason I'm more adapted to carbohydrates, and ripping out carbohydrates is causing me to have like panic attacks, basically, almost. Had too much caffeine, it was just maybe did something to the adrenal glands, not sure. Decided to replan things. Here's my thoughts. So firstly, I'm now currently, let's take it clean, I'm now no longer sober. In Australia and everywhere it's legal, medicinal, but grass. So when we talk about grass, currently I have had a couple of drags. Why I say a couple of drags is we all have habits. We all have things that we lean on, things that have worked for us or things that haven't worked for us. And for example, in climbing along the business, I used to be able to like target myself. When I was first starting out, I would write a list and I'd be like, if I complete this list, then I can go to the sauna and spa, and then I can get a snack pack, a kebab snack pack. And that was still within my diet, but it was something that I look forward to. So I would like treat myself every day. Was it a good thing? No. Could I have done better? Yes, I could have. And what I've been trying to do is this year, I have been just trying to be the best. And I was like, look at how much man I am and look how much best I am. Not all the time, but that's where that energy comes from. It's not a war externally, it's a war internally. So internally, I am looking outside and I'm like, I've got to be better, I've got to be best. I'm better than habits, I'm better than this, I'm better than that. And grass has been an interesting one because I have made a lot of successful things at certain times with grass, but I've used it very differently, meaning I've run businesses, I've built businesses, a lot of groundwork and a lot of creative stuff is done around that. It's also helped my sleep, and on a diet, it's definitely going to help on this diet. So what I've done is I've put it as a reward towards the second half of the day. So what I'm going to do is first half of the day, and I'll get to where grass sits in general, but while I'm here, first half of the day, wake up, my thoughts is, and I'm going to try this out, is do the work, do the computer work, do the e-commerce work, do the business work, do the boring hashtag work or the important work to be done on a fresh mind, clear, not super anxious, not super hungry because just woke up. Haven't put my body through any major stress, so my body can literally just take care of actually just doing the thing. So just do the actual work. So do the actual work that's necessary to do. That's it, really. Right? So I do the work that's necessary to do. Then I go to the gym afterwards. So afterwards I go to the gym still fasted, still sober, etc., still everything, right? Fasted, and I do my 3 hours workout. Now at the end of the 3 hours of workout, I'm allowed to come home and I'm allowed to have a couple of drags of grass. And actually what that does is at that point my anxiousness is already like risen. So at that point really what my body wants right then is it wants carbohydrates. It wants something to like go stop. Right there, it's like really after a workout, after a strenuous workout, you want to spike up your blood insulin so your liver glycogen fills out, but I'll spare you the scientific stuff. Your body's under stress, you're in a high cortisol situation, you want food afterwards. You know when you're hungry after you work out? Cool, that's what happens. So you've worked out. During that time I can now have grass, and then I have my chicken throughout the day, so I keep it low carb. But in the evening, I'm bringing back the rice. So I'm bringing back the rice to KO me to sleep. Now, the only reason it stopped beforehand really was I didn't like how I was feeling groggy. Well, I should have just manned up and kind of woken up and, okay, well, I wasn't ketosis adapted, or I wasn't in an anxious fit. So maybe, yeah, I woke up from a deep sleep or something. Maybe my body wasn't adjusted to carbohydrates. Regardless, I can't not sleep. So what I did there was I lost, half of my day was super anxious. I lost a whole night's of sleep, laying there in bed last night for 5 hours. 5 hours trying to bed, trying to like count sheep, trying to meditate, trying to do far out. Like, whoa. Like, genuinely whoa. So anyway, so I did that. And I've looked at grass, and mentally, for some reason, it does a thing for me. So maybe it's because called anxious, or just like, there's so much, and it just kind of zeroes in for me and allows me to spend time on each thought. Now, depending on strains and depending on, like, I do believe in finding the exact right strain for right part of time of day. So I've gone kind of real scientific with it. So we're going to lean more to sativa leanings, which is more energized, less energy, less sleepy, more creative, but you can't have too much of it, so you just need to have a tiny bit of it. And it really is almost unnoticeable, but it literally just calms the anxiety a little bit and creates a little laser focus, like a little bit. And that little bit of extra focus allows me to then be a little bit freer in my creative, and then for the second half of the day I can be in my creative. So after the gym, when grass goes in, I can spend the rest of the half day creative, knowing that I've already done the busy work in the morning. So basically, all I have to do is work hard in the morning. Well, not hard, I have to work in the morning on moving the business forward. That's all I'm doing. Every morning I must move the business forward and do the important work. I must move the actual business forward. So if I'm moving the business forward in the morning, that's my only job. If I've moved it forward, if I've done all the boring computer work, then I've got the gym. Now the gym is actually relatively enjoyable because there'll be a bit of caffeine, music, and at the end of the gym I also know that there's grass. Now my brain will know that. I'm not thinking that yet, I'm not in that kind of loop, but my brain will know that becomes my like creative zone. It's like hustle in the morning, like yang in the morning, then yin but a bit creative with a bit of yang, and then yin towards the evening. And also do yoga in the evenings. Fantastic, right? But also I had to look at the ROI. Like right now you're experiencing me happier, more clear of thought, more precise. And it's just, I have to ask myself, I have to be like, well, if it works for me, why am I trying to be just this best human? Like if I work for it, if it's enjoyable, if it works, it just sits there. It's like, why? Let's just keep it here. Like, that's like, I'm not getting the problem here. Like I'm getting there's problems. I'm definitely getting that there's problems. There's going to be grogginess to deal with. There's going to be ways to wake up. There's going to be a ramification of things. But basically I'm having a look at, like, I have done many periods of life where I've done 2 years completely sober. Maybe a bit of alcohol here and there, but here and there. Completely sober in my adult life. Just 2 years completely sober. Then I've done like 6 month period at a time, 8 month periods at a time. Another year somewhere there. Then 6 months here, 3 months there. So I would say almost, if I look at my adult life, if we call sobriety between 18 and now what I am, which is 34 years old, probably 20% I've spent of it on grass. 20% on grass. So 20% of it I've spent on grass, maybe. So that's like out of the, 14, 16 years, 20% to 4 years probably in total on grass. So, and it's interesting because in a lot of those periods of times, Granted, at some point, and sometimes they were mixed with other things in like, I used it to escape once, but I would then just eat myself into a coma and then gained a heap of weight. It was like a bad 2-month period. But most of those times were very successful periods of time, because you need to be a little bit delusional. You kind of need to be a little bit delusional to jump outside the box. When I sold everything I own at 27 years old, BMW 6 Series, got rid of my beach house, which was like my dream house, like beach house, loved the house, BMW 6 Series, 200 grand car, loving life, work was easy, heaps of friends, I sold everything I own and moved back to my family home, because I was like, I need to cause myself pain to be able to break out of this employment life cycle, and I will make a business and I will live my life free and I will travel and gallivant. You have to be delusional. Because people are in your face saying, no, what you're doing is wrong, no, because it also, your success would mean about them that they never actually achieved what they wanted to achieve. So it is like, it's wild. It's simply wild. Okay? That's all. I'm just going to say it's wild. Okay. So where I see, I lost my train of thought. But I'm also still super hungry. My biggest point is I'm now attempting to put grass in as an identity, as a tool. Really, it's just during this cut, like create a system here, a routine here. Then after the cut, we'll probably see where it sits, maybe potentially in a different place, because I'll have to adjust my eating, or it might sit in a different place. But for the cut period, which is this period, which is just going to be here is what I eat every day, and I'm just going to continue doing this and continue doing the exercise, and this is what I do every day. I build my business in the morning, I do all the boring work, the business stuff, and I make the needle move on admin stuff. I go to the gym for a significant period of time, then I consume tiny bits of grass, and then I do creative work. Creative work sometimes still is on the computer and moves to computer, but creative work has a flow, it has an energy. I can basically play for the rest of the day. Half the day is work, half the day is play. I can do that. Half the day is work, half the day is play. So basically that's where I'm feeling, and how to keep this maneuvered. In other news, I have other news. I got paid my first royalty for the music that was released, and this is for the first song for the first day that it was ever released, and I'd love to talk about it. But no, I'll tell you right now. Why am I holding on for tomorrow? So, what has occurred by me having a first payout? It's 18 USD cents. 18 USD cents for the first day. I got so excited. It's not large money. It's very not large money. In my world, it's not large money. It's not even money. However, what has just happened is a dopamine loop has been closed. Let me explain. Your brain, when it gets a positive reinforcement, closes. When it gets a positive reinforcement, when it does an action and it gets something positive back, what you receive is a positive, that's good. You get a reward point, dopamine, and it's do that activity more. You get cash, you then take your cash, you spend it on a Mercedes, you're like, cash is good, right? Cash makes you it's good. So, I've been producing music. I've been doing this for 3 months. Not a single dollar. We don't know if it's good. We've heard it's negative reviews. We've heard heaps of positive reviews, but we don't know what's occurred now. Every time I hear a positive review, that's good. That closes another dopamine loop. But this has been now a cash loop that's closed. So now I'm oh, okay, you can earn money off this. Money isn't the goal of this music thing. But what I do is I want to create the most listened to music on the planet. So if I want to create the most listened to music on the planet, I need to be focused on how many times it gets listened to. The more times it gets listened, it gets listened to. Did it? Yes. The more times it gets listened to, the more times it has impacted somebody. The more times it gets listened to, it also pays in the cash number. Now, you only get paid for when the song has been streamed for at least 30 seconds, which means I can basically say that after 30 seconds, well, you've entered that vibration, so it's made some sort of a difference for you for that stream. So for me, every dollar is how much people you've impacted, truly. So basically, it equates to about $1 per 1,000 streams. Per 1,000 streams. So 1,000 people, or 1,000 times if you stream it. By the way, if you haven't listened to the album Free Speech, listen to it. It's an art piece. You'll never forget listening to it. It's raw, it's emotional. But if you've been here, you know. $1 for 1,000 streams. So I've got a few benchmarks. Kanye, 22 billion. Justin Bieber streams did 60 billion streams on Spotify, and that's just on Spotify. So basically, outside of all their brand deals, that's worth sort of like $100 million-ish. So it's just seeing what those numbers are, and also in me looking at the top of the artist field in general, what I'm beginning to do is I'm creating a vortex for myself of listening for the top of the top and what they're doing. So naturally it begins to mesh with my creativity, and I begin to listen and produce similar things and kind of move into that direction. So yes, it'll be authentic, yes, it'll be raw, but what I'm doing is I'm looking at the top of the top, and my brain is finding patterns of what is similar between them. What bits, what makes them all at that level? Like, is it the rawness? Is it this? Is it that? And once you can kind of figure out what the top of the top have and then begin to embody that, it kind of happens automatically. So anyway, the dopamine loop has been closed for money, so I can officially say now, from start, and you've been here from the very start, I am a paid musician. Paid musician. That's it. So, you know, I've got a lot more to tell you on the dopamine, but I'm liking my energy more, and I'm thinking I'm more impactful, I'm more direct when I'm speaking to you as well. So I think this is where we need to be. This is where we need to be. I feel better about this video. I don't know how you feel. I hope that you feel better. If you do, let me know. If you don't, let me know. But I feel like I've definitely got more, I gave more value in a more structured way to you about what I'm going through, packaged it in a way that is more succinct to convey what I realize for myself, so hopefully you can get value and apply it in your life for whatever matters to you. I love you. Have the best day. And I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.